having a license and driving recklessly. Here we go. Oh my gosh.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I last covered KYRA, like KYRA, OKbaby KYRA, that KYRA. I last covered her because I was just so confused that there were two things. Number one, she was driving and then also like filming her nails at the same time. And I was a bit like, that's a bit weird. Why are you promoting that to your audience? That doesn't seem right. And then second of all, she was going off about how people were making comments about her choice of parenting or something to those lines. Anyway, I just found the whole thing semi-amusing, what the hell's going on here. Basically, so she actually did a Q&A, which I watched a couple of days ago. She did a Q&A where she actually answered the questions to why people might be annoyed at the fact that she's recklessly driving, darlings, recklessly driving. And to be honest, she is. Like, I'll show you the clip again. It definitely wasn't PG tips. Like, she was definitely, it was a massive, great big truck right next to her, and she's there with her new nails, and she's there filming it. And I'm just like, you can't, like, what? I'm just so confused. Like, not only is it dangerous, number one, you should just be driving. Number two, like, you're promoting it to, could be a young audience. I don't know what her demographic is, but I'm assuming sort of like our age younger, which makes it even, I think me and KYRA are pretty much the same age, we're both 26. And when I watched this video, I know like a little bit of backstory to her and Oscar, and then there's a whole Preston situation. Like, I kind of know the backstory to it. I haven't been like an absolutely avid viewer, and I never really was of OKbaby, but I do remember when they had the whole breakup, and then there was speculation and like, and I've kind of been following it, not really. A lot of stuff that I'll just misinterpret a little bit differently, but I did watch that video, and I was mostly in it because she was talking about reckless driving. Interesting point as well, we're both the same age, and we both have recently gone through a separation, and we're both co-parenting, so I kind of felt like there was parts of the video that I wasn't that bothered about, and there was other parts where I was like, that's interesting. Also, like, subtle shade thrown at Oscar as well, and we're going to get into little bits. So I'm not going to talk about the whole video because there's some bits that I just do not care about, such as the Peloton thing. I mean, I love a spin class, don't get me wrong, but I just don't care about the Peloton. What we're going to get into straight away is her talking about her driver's license and the reckless driving, which is literally the last video that I covered. And as luck would have it, here she is explaining more about it.
Here we go. Oh my gosh.
So she goes on to say that everyone's causing drama, and there was a really short window where she hadn't had her license renewed. She says that she's had her license since she was 15, but there was a very short window in which she hadn't renewed her license. And she was like, but she just openly admitted to it. She was like, oh, I was only driving around for an ultra short while.
Oh my gosh. I will say, since Oscar and I split up, I get hated on for the tiniest things, and it's actually helped me realize, like, okay, it's all just drama and hate. They're not, like, it's not real things. People just like the entertainment of it.
And the thing is, I'm not quite sure how it works in the States, but I'm pretty sure over here, you've got to have like a valid driving license, otherwise you literally can't drive. You've got to have it like up to date, renewed kind of thing, and you even get in like all sorts of penalty issues if you don't update your home address on your license as well. Like, there's loads of things that you are literally fined and penalized for. They're really quite hot on it over here, so I don't know what the rules are over there. In short words, everyone's stirring up drama. Like, it's all these people stirring up the drama because, you know, it's juicy gossip. But it's true, there was a time where I didn't have, like, I hadn't renewed my license and I was driving around. It's like, what? So you just admitted to it.
Anyways, I have my driver's license. It was expired, and then I got a new one, and it was a very short time frame in that time frame that I was driving around where it was expired and I didn't have it.
Because I did see a few comments saying, oh, she doesn't have a license. And I'm thinking, I was like, well, she must have a license now, otherwise she's not going to show herself filming. Apparently it was a very short space of time, but yet she still drove around anyway. So whatever. Some like truthfulness to the rumors, to those rumors that were going around, because she just admitted to it. I'm just like, why? If you don't want people speculating, maybe don't admit to doing stuff like that, and then people wouldn't feel the need to speculate even further. To the reckless driving. So she starts off by saying, Okay, I understand. And she says this.
Driving recklessly. This one I do understand a little bit, a very tiny wee bit about it.
She understands a teeny tiny little bit. You either understand or you don't. There's nothing to not understand about this. Like, you're either for dangerous driving or you're against it and you won't use any phones. This doesn't make any sense. The thing is, she's never actually deleted it, so she obviously doesn't think it's a big deal. However, she does go on and say, you know, I'm not a dangerous driver, I hook up all of my stuff. But if she didn't actually see an issue with it, she would just take down the video because it's promoting that sort of stuff. Like, she's fully just left it up and she's like, oh, you know, well, I kind of get where you guys are coming from. And it's like, what do you mean you kind of get where we're coming from? I actually don't think she is as hot on road safety or as hot on, you know, protecting her own life in the vehicle as she says she is. She said that she didn't have any of her kids on her, which I don't know. Some people are saying she didn't because they knew which vlog it was coming from. That's completely by the by, but the problem is that you're not really seeing what the problem is with it. And I think if enough people are telling you that something is wrong, then you should probably just listen to your audience and go, maybe I need to work on this a little bit.
Oh my gosh, you guys, the backlash. I couldn't even. I didn't even read more than like a couple comments because I was like, yep, this is when I log off. It's like when you get to the wrong side of the internet and you're like, I'm on the wrong side. I don't know how I got here, but I'm on the wrong side. I will make the efforts to be more cautious. I don't text and drive. I am like the person who has everything hooked up to my car and I do everything through that. But I did take that 2-second video. I was by myself in the car. I was going extremely slow and there was nobody else on the road the first time, first of all. And then the second time I was on the freeway down with them.
Because there's definitely some things in life that do honestly irritate me, and driving when using your phone is definitely one of them. She also goes on to say, she's like, I bet you anything that 99 whatever, she says this.
Really grinds my gears about all of it is I guarantee you 95% of the people hating, not people in the world, okay, just those commenters totally have texted and drove. You get it.
I'm just like, no, I really don't think so. Don't get me wrong, there's probably are some people who will make a comment and then secretly, like slyly have touched their phone, but a majority of people that I know do not use their phones whilst they're driving because it only takes like a split second. I just feel like this should just be one of those things that you should probably just go, well, it is actually, you know, over here it's the law. You can't even look at your phone over here. You can't even touch your phone. So if someone from the UK on that said that, it would be like, well, you're either breaking the law or you're not breaking the law. Like, which one is it? I don't really understand why you can't see where there might be something wrong there. Anyway, she doesn't really appear like she really cares about it, to be honest. So I don't know, it's just a bit weird. Oh no, I went too far and then I was seeing loads of negativity, and it's like, yeah, but you created that because you posted that short of you driving whilst looking at your nails. So come on now, like if you put something out there, you've got to sort of like take accountability for the fact that you might then get a reaction out of your audience, you know what I mean? As much as a lot of influencers say that they don't like the drama, and this is such a small amount of drama, they'll then make like Q&As and stuff with it in the thumbnail to address it, and it's like, you need the drama as much as the drama needs you guys. Like, let us be completely real. I feel like it's a symbiotic relationship. They cause the drama, people then talk about the drama, and then they do more drama, and then there's more talking about it, which then makes them relevant, and just so the circle of life continues on YouTube.
How are you and Oscar doing? Oscar and I will say.
Also, another bit as well, and bearing in mind I'm not like 110% familiar with every single little detail that happened between her and Oscar, but she was saying how, you know, and I do relate to this because me and my ex do co-parent, and I've had to learn how to co-parent quite quickly, as has he. I've never discussed the ins and outs of it on my YouTube channel because A, I'm not a vlogger, and B, even if I was a vlogger, I wouldn't do it anyway. I just wouldn't. I feel like when two people separate, there's just so much stuff that goes on that it shouldn't really be aired out to the public anyway. And I do know that obviously they were a family channel, but what makes it even harder was the fact that she was saying, you know, I hold a lot of anger towards Oscar, and Oscar holds a lot of hurtness or something like that towards me.
Have done a really good job at putting our own emotions aside to be able to be there for the kids. And that's something I wasn't sure was gonna be possible. And I have a lot of anger towards him, and I know that he has a lot of hurt towards me. I'm quite sure he fully understands how I feel about him and our relationship even at this point. So yeah, we try our best. Co-parenting is really, really, really hard. I don't feel like things are portrayed very accurately online, and that can be very frustrating, but it's not worth the anger, the sadness, the emotion, ruining the good co-parenting thing that we have going and all of that.
And the thing is that from what I've gathered, there is a very big split between people being like Team Oscar or Team KYRA, and it's weird because they both obviously started off as being a partnership, not only together in relationship but together for business, and now they're almost each other's competition. Are we speaking the same language? I kind of feel like they were once in business together. Like, she even said, she was like, you know, we weren't very good at managing money and stuff, and we just used to spend it and not look at how much money we have, which is like, well, that sounds lovely, my dear. That sounds absolutely fabulous. Now she's really having to think about where her money goes and all of that because they're not together. So they were very much a business, and now of course they're separated. But because people have like watched this relationship unfold, yeah. So now it's Oscar versus KYRA. Not only in, you know, splitting public opinion, some people think that KYRA's awful, other people think that Oscar is awful. I've seen both sides of the argument, but because of all that, they're not only like audience-wise split, but they're also business split, because they're both now having to try and attract kind of similar audiences. I've had a little browse on Oscar's, because Oscar's obviously got like his own as well, and he does a little bit of social media, and I've seen a couple of his vlogs and things, but I kind of just get the gist that both of them are just gonna like hold on to the fact that this relationship ended, and as long as they keep on holding on to it, and people are gonna keep on asking questions. But I do think that, bearing in mind a lot of people might be Team KYRA, which is stupid because like it's a relationship breakdown, but they have very much monetized this. People are then gonna take that and go, oh, you know, what has Oscar done to make her so angry? And it's just gonna like continue it. And not only that, but their kids are gonna grow up and like see that one day. And I think that kids already have such a hard enough time with two parents that are not together, and them splitting up. I don't entirely buy what she said when she said, oh, none of my kids don't really understand and stuff. I think it doesn't even matter. Like, you can have like a 1-year-old. I do still think that they will recognize the fact that there's now an absence between the mum and the dad, and I'm just speaking from experience.
It affected them in a bad way. My kids are very young, and I know everybody's situation is different, but for me, Oscar and I never had a lot of affection. We never really touched each other or kissed in front of the kids or held hands. Like, I'm not even sure the kids really understood that like we were in a relationship, you know. They're too little.
Like I say, we're both pretty much the same age. We've both had a relationship breakdown kind of around the same point, I think. And because of that, and now, you know, co-parenting. So I feel like when I was listening to a lot of what she was saying, I was like, yeah, true, okay, yeah, this makes sense, yeah. But then there were just some parts I was like, it's probably just not for the best to even mention anything to do with the kid's dad or anything like that. And I'm just saying, just because kids like massively pick up on it, and then to have it sort of just aired out all over YouTube, it's just probably just not the best idea. Do you know what I mean? I do actually find it proper interesting how, like, because she started doing YouTube, like she started making content and that so young. Like, the amount of money, if she's saying, like, they must have blown through so much money if she's saying, well, now I'm much more mindful of it. But it just makes you question just how much money they would have actually have got through, like collectively, like both of them. Just how much money do they actually rinse during their time? And it is like a really scary thing then suddenly having to be like financially independent on your own. I think KYRA's in a very lucky position where she has a very large platform, and because she has a very large platform, the income's going to keep on rolling in. Like, we see her, she's still getting the sponsorships. I don't think she's like, she's not under any like financial insecurity. Whereas a lot of other, and I'm not saying that, oh, you know, some parents, you know, oh no, like, you know, other single mums and that, not single mums, but, you know, other mums and dads that go out and leave a spouse and they're left with barely any money. You know, I think she is in a very, very privileged position, and I think she's got to, I can't work out if she was acknowledging that or not. She might have been, there might have been certain points where she was, but I think it's really like, I think she's got to remember that she is by far extremely fortunate in the fact that she already had a lot of money when she was in a relationship, and unfortunately a lot of people didn't, like, such as myself. I didn't have any money when I got out of a relationship, and that's just the same for a lot of people. And I'm not saying that she wasn't making that clear, but I just think it's something to note that if you're going through a really similar time, or you're splitting up with your partner, or anything such as that, like a separation, anything like that's happening, it's just like, just keep in mind that it's not the way that, with obviously it's happened with like KYRA and a lot of other mums and whoever who separate, it's not going to look like that, and it is going to be a lot harder. And I just think there just needs to be someone just to say, like, yeah, this isn't how it looks for every single person. Do you know what I mean? Like, in KYRA's position and other people's position, this isn't the way that it always looks, and it is extremely hard.
It was just a lot, so I decided to pull out and just rent this home, get into something very quickly, and figure out what I want, which I'm very thankful that I did that, because that house was almost $800,000, and even though I could afford that, I don't want to take that approach to life anymore, because my goal when I was 18 and freshly making good money, or even 24 years old or 25, was to just have a nice house and to have a job that made me a lot of money and had a large savings account and all these things, and my goal is definitely not that anymore. So I'm glad I didn't tie myself down to that house, because now I'm able to do other things. So I do want to buy a home, but I want to buy a smaller home, fix up that house / just live in that house and let it earn equity over time, and then buy another house and rent that house out, and just kind of like continue that throughout the years, if that makes sense.
I don't doubt that there's not quite a few channels out there who do document this kind of thing. But yeah, definitely don't feel alone, and don't feel that you've got to amount to the same thing that a lot of these other influencers do, because it's not realistic. Just having a little look on her Instagram, and it showed, well, she's in London at the minute, which is about, how far away is London from me? Like 5 hours away from where I am. And the very first thing that I saw was when she was like, oh, the rain, and I was like, oh, the rain. It's meant to be storms this week. So hold on to your hats, because it's just going to be, like, I just want a bit of spring. I just want a bit of spring. Like, I do firmly believe, it's like Love Meg when she just got back from Europe and she went during the winter. I'm just like, why is this happening? Like, come here in the summer. Come here in the summer. It'll make everything a hell of a lot better. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head off. I've actually had Sunny behind me this whole entire time being completely quiet. He just went out for his little walk. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next video.